Well, yesterday saw nationwide social justice boycotts, a day without immigrants. I don't know how it was for you all out there. I know here in Austin, Texas, there was very little traffic, and it was actually the most delightful day I've ever had at the grocery store. Got in and out like that. So I'm not really sure how it was supposed to affect us all. But of course, this was something that was done to send a message to President Trump that people are fed up with his immigration policies and this proposed wall that he wants to build. But the issue that I'm having with it is that it is combining everyone into this group of immigrants, legal immigrants with illegal immigrants. And there's a huge difference. Donald Trump is not trying to deport immigrants. He'd be deporting more than half the country, I'm sure. So this is where people were kind of confused. Millie Weaver was there in attendance yesterday, and she was actually speaking with some of these protesters who were agreeing with Donald Trump's policies. So they understand that, yeah, people shouldn't be here illegally. We are a nation of laws. If not, then we could just turn into Mexico or some other country where these people are fleeing because they're not run by the rule of law and their economy and countries are crumbling. So this is something that leftist organizers and businesses across America were actually pushing this out there, telling all immigrants, legal and illegal, stay home, miss worker class. A lot of schools are reporting very low attendance, aimed at Donald Trump's efforts to crack down on illegal immigration. And this protest affected the restaurant and hospitality industries the most because according to Restaurant Opportunities Centers United, an estimated 1.3 million illegal aliens actually work in the restaurant industry alone. So that is where you probably saw the greatest bump or in your day where you might have been a little disturbed. And something else that's coming out is just a lot of this is to stoke fear, to cause these communities to be very afraid, thinking that their families could be deported, family members. And so people are rightfully scared. But here's the thing. I mean, if you are here illegally in this country, you already know there is a possibility that if you overstay your visa, you're going to get kicked out. I can't go to any other country without going through the visa process. It doesn't matter if I bring a lot of money there, if I'm a really nice person, or I make a good life for myself. If you overstay your visa, you're going to get deported, possibly fined. And I know in a lot of countries in Europe, they bar you for life. You can never go back there. So the people are only upset about it when it's here in the United States. But they're really pushing this out to stoke fear and, of course, try to dismantle Trump's agenda, say his administration is about to crumble. And so they're ramping up these stories of these ICE raids. I know it was all over social media. People were posting these flyers saying, oh, ICE is here, ICE is there, watch out for raids, letting people know how to deal with these ICE officers if they were to come to their home. A lot of people, just a lot of panic. And now U.S. Immigration and Customs Enforcement is actually pushing back against the media, saying, stop reporting this fake news. In fact, President Obama grabbed 350% more people at once. They said the media is putting out dangerous and irresponsible reporting, calling out the Washington Post and others. And the agency made about 683 arrests of mostly criminal illegal immigrants or those with multiple cases against them. And so then they tweeted out a Throwback Thursday, April 2012, ICE arrests more than 3,100 convicted criminal aliens and immigration fugitives in nationwide op. So they were really trying to make their point that why weren't people upset then when they made this massive sweep in the nation, drew very little media coverage, very little outrage, because, it was President Obama and he's doing the job that he's supposed to and enforcing our immigration laws here. No uproar then, and it was a 350% more during this nationwide operation. They also tweeted out that these reports do nothing more than create mass panic and put communities and law enforcement personnel in unnecessary danger. And that is absolutely the truth, because that's what they did. They created mass panic. You saw these people protesting, thinking their grandma's going to get deported, or rounded up. And yes, there's always that possibility. But as Trump has said again and again, they're focusing on the criminals, which I am upset with here living in Austin, Texas, because we actually have a sheriff who is so political right now and trying to get Austin turned into a sanctuary city, and saying she's going to be defying the federal laws, that she is having the media purposefully call people who are here illegally and arrested, or possibly they've committed murder, raped a woman at knife point in front of her child. They just call them an Austin man because they don't want to stir up controversy. They don't want people to understand that the issue is the people who are here illegally committing crimes. Those are the ones that have got to go. And so you're not really going to hear about that. You're just going to stoke this fear, and they're going to show you pictures of people's grandmas and moms and things like that. But this is what Immigration and Customs Enforcement wanted to just put out. See, they're having to go on the defensive now, just like Donald Trump's having to constantly push back against the fake news. Now, so is ICE saying, you guys are completely wrong and you're going to cause mass panic. We've deported criminals, gang members, people with multiple cases against them. And now there's also a story going around to stoke fear and panic that Donald Trump is planning on deploying the National Guard to round up illegal immigrants. So this is about a 11-page document that the Associated Press pushed out, actually. And once again, the White House has had to issue an objection to that, saying this is absolutely false. It's not a White House document. They say maybe it could have come from the DHS or something, but it was nothing that was ever presented to the president. It was nothing that they were ever discussing. This proposal would mobilize as many as 100,000 National Guard troops to round up illegal immigrants in 11 immigrant-heavy states. And it would give governors there the opportunity to opt out. Now, the White House principal deputy press secretary said the White House has no plans in any capacity to use the National Guard to round up the people. Sean Spicer said this is 100% not true. It is false. It is irresponsible to be saying this. And there's no effort at all to round up illegal immigrants by utilizing the National Guard. So again, we're just seeing this mass panic being put out there by these news agencies who aren't even fact-checking these sources. I mean, it would be very easy to check with the White House and say, is this real, before you just put out this document that is going to stoke mass panic and basically tell people that the military is going to be in their streets rounding up their abuelita. So what they've gone on to say, again, is that this is just more fake news being put out by the AP. It was never seriously considered by the department. And again, they could have easily checked with the White House before putting this out. But if Donald Trump did do it, guess what? He would not be the first president to mobilize the National Guard for immigration enforcement. In 2010, former President Barack Obama said he would deploy 1,200 National Guard troops to the U.S.-Mexico border, and they were sent to Arizona, Texas, California, and New Mexico. Now, the National Guard troops weren't authorized to arrest people found to be crossing the border illegally. They helped staff observation posts, monitor surveillance footage, and build fences. So this is the difference, because with this document that's floating around about the alleged 100,000 National Guard troops, they would actually have the ability to arrest and hold these people that they get illegally. So that's the big thing, is that the troops are going to come out and round you up, which we've been saying that they're really pushing that Trump's going to be like Hitler and rounding people up in FEMA camps. So that fits their narrative, their agenda, which I think is why the AP was so quick to put that document out there. But in 2006, former President George W. Bush called up 6,000 National Guard troops to California, Arizona, New Mexico, and Texas. They also were commissioned to help the Border Patrol. Now, according to Customs and Border Protection, that operation resulted in the apprehension of 5,003 people, 110 vehicles, 11 million pounds of marijuana, and about 1,447 pounds of cocaine. And Obama removed more people from the U.S. than any other president at some 2.5 million. Bush deported 2 million people. And I mean, deportations jumped in the hundreds of thousands in the 90s. So this has been going on for quite some time, but it's just President Trump who's this racist, sexist, xenophobe. It's just absolute madness to watch this happening with our own eyes on real television. Well, I guess it's the very fake news. that is really pushing this agenda. When you can see from the history, this is what presidents have done. They're supposed to enforce our immigration laws. And now, according to analysis by the Center for Immigration Studies, that wall that Donald Trump proposes to build would only need to stop 9 to 12% of illegal crossings to pay for itself. So the estimated 12 to 15 billion cost of the wall would be quickly offset by the savings to the government if fewer illegal immigrants arrive in the country over the next decade. The estimates from the National Academies of Sciences, Engineering, and Medicine say the average cost to taxpayers of illegal immigrants is about $75,000 per illegal immigrant in a lifetime. If you take into consideration what taxpayers have to do if they're paying for these illegal immigrants' children, that amounts to about $95,000 per illegal immigrant. So this wall could save taxpayers nearly $64 billion over the next decade if half the crossings are stopped. That's more than 3 times the proposed cost of this wall.
In case you haven't heard, InfoWars has become the most influential media outlet in America. We're making freedom go viral. And now we are proud to announce a new weapon in the epic battle against the globalists. InfoWars Prime, where you can watch live high-definition feeds of The Alex Jones Show, plus exclusive insider videos from the InfoWars crew and behind-the-scenes action. Go to Infowars.com/app and download today. InfoWars Prime is available right now for your iPhone or Android. You will have access to exclusive videos that you can't see anywhere else. And that means live coverage of events and breaking news on location as it happens. You can also take advantage of amazing deals from the InfoWars store that are only available for InfoWars Prime subscribers. That's InfoWars Prime at Infowars.com/app. If you can hear my voice, you are the resistance.